Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. So this video is closely related to the video I did. I think I called it Earth, a Planet of Abundance. Um, it's so weird. I recently had a conversation with a friend. It would have to be my friend Richard because he's the only one I really talk to about these things. And I went back in our text, I couldn't find it, but I know I had this conversation about how all of this, this has more to do with nature, but I mean, it's all like everything that's going on in the planet, it's all um, been going on for a very, very, very long time. I think longer than what we even believe, even those of us who have awakened. It's been more than the last few generations or last 100 years. It's been longer, I believe. Yeah, Richard, it had to be you, was I couldn't find it. It must have been further back. But anyways, been thinking a lot about nature and stuff like that. Our situation was never meant to be any different than any other mammal or other creature on this planet. Okay, they live and survive on what's available out in nature. When the Creator created this planet, it provided everything any creature on this planet needed to survive, free of charge. This makes me feel like, well, I know. All right, this thing where we've separated ourselves from nature, I think that was by design. And it started, well, a couple thousand years ago at least, I think, where the religions started separating humans from nature, that we are not a part of nature. Now, I truly feel being the most eh, intelligent creature on this planet, we do need to take care of it and take care of it properly. That I do believe. But all of these things, nature is meant to support all the creatures on the planet in so many ways. Now, the most obvious one is food. Now, what we have to accept is that various creatures on the planet have different dietary needs, and there is a food chain, whether you like it or not. There is. I know being at the top of the food chain, we have a tendency to, well, feel guilty. Okay. But I don't see the coyotes and the wolves feeling guilty, when they go stealing people's chickens and shit like that. I don't. They just eat. Okay. So, you know, you have the vegetarian species like the white-tailed deer we have around here. Uh, you have, well, the coyotes and wolves around here. They're carnivorous. Then you have those who are both. Okay, that would be humans, and it is a choice on um, your diet, and everybody has a right to that choice without judgment. Okay, everybody's body is different, unique, and some people they can handle a meatless diet, others cannot. So there is still that food chain, and I don't know. Maybe one day in the distant future, the human body will change enough that it is no longer omnivorous. But this point in time, for the most part, it's not. We are omnivorous, vegetables and meat. Okay. For me, it didn't work. I got more fatigued, more sick, and I did try it when I was going through my chronic illnesses. I thought it would help. It did not. There should be no judgment on how people choose to eat. Okay. Where the judgment lies Well, it's on those who process and provide our food. Are they treating these animals in a loving manner? And when maybe I should explain this first. Okay, now this is my spiritual path. I know a lot of people, especially those of you who are in mainstream religions or whatever, have trouble accepting this. But I have talked about pre-life planning before and how this includes when you're born, when you die, most, I wouldn't say every minute of your life, but a lot of situations are pre-planned. Okay, now say you get in a car accident. My dad had this situation when you were what, 21, 19? Yeah, he was 19. He was living in Detroit. His landlord, after my father worked all night long, she wanted to come to Cleveland. Insisted my father drive, and he said, I cannot. I am too tired. Well, my dad did it anyways. Got in a car accident. Uh, she died. Her son was with them too. She died in the car accident. I'm not going to go into the details. However, this did affect my dad for the rest of his life. I remember when he told me about it, I cried. But before coming into these lives, he had contracted with this woman while they were in spirit that this would happen and there'd be an accident, and that would be her chosen exit date. I know this is hard to understand for most people. I think you have to be a practicing spiritualist for quite some time before you can really wrap your head around it. But this is for whatever reason, and I'm not going to ask my father. He's over it now that he died. Uh, are you friends? Oh, you're kidding. So what my dad just told me is, well, we're friends up here. This woman. Yeah, her son was, well, extremely mad at my father. Dad, I don't want to hear it. I can't stand hearing what I can't. Yeah, my heart breaks for my dad going through it at such a young age too. Um, but they are, in fact, yeah, I probably know her in the spirit realm. Am I right? He's saying yes. I know her in the spirit realm because my dad just told me she's part of our soul group, our soul family. So yeah, you usually make these contracts with others in your soul family, and then in this, like when you incarnate, you might run into others in your soul family, and not have a lifelong or close relationship with them. And those you do have close relations, yeah, you can pretty much guarantee they're in your soul family. So you just can't get away from them. I'm joking. I'm not gonna go. Anyways, so why I'm telling you this is because when, all right, say you go hunting or whatever, if the animals, well, they're the same spirits we are. Okay, like I've told you guys, I have incarnated twice on planet Earth as animals. Once as a penguin and once as a tree frog. Honestly, I can't remember the reason. Probably just to have a good time for once. Take it easy. But you do contract. Okay, I will be your food and etc. Now, you've heard like the natives, when they are hunting and they make a kill, they give gratitude to the spirit of that animal. Man, they were so wise. They knew they made this contract. They deep down in their spirit, they knew this animal made this contract willingly to provide food. So when they made that kill, um, they gave gratitude, and no part of the remains were to be wasted. Hunting is not for sport. Okay. So these are the kind of things I know it's hard for people to understand, but this is how nature provides. Okay. For our species, I'm going to talk in particular, but this is for every species on this planet. Nature is our support system, our backup. That's why we call it Mother Nature, because nature takes care of us. The Creator created it that way. So we have food, we have our vegetables, our plants, our vegetation, in animals. Then we have our oxygen. I think that's probably the biggest one because, well, we couldn't live at all in, we'll eat the food provided if we could not breathe. So this is where we provide, where we put in, we, what is the word I'm looking for? Could you guys back up? Everybody's talking. This is where we put our contribution in to nature and the cycle of life. We breathe in oxygen, which is provided by, well, the plants cleanse the oxygen. They provide us oxygen. What we breathe out, is that CO2? I can't remember. All I know is I was so fascinated with this in elementary school when I learned it. We breathe out is what plants take in, and what they put out, oxygen. I mean, it's amazing stuff like that. Even I believe us taking care of anything in nature, we know how, all right, here, the winters can get very brutal. You put a salt lick out, you put seed, you put, you know, it makes it easier for we have the intelligence to do this. So we can provide for the wildlife and well, our domestic animals, obviously. So we are contributing to nature. All these things, water. This is the planet of water. And there's so much of it. And we have to get back to taking care of it and making it, pure and clean again. But it was provided for free. All of it was. Anything in it. I mean, we don't really need the things we think we need. Now, yes, power, it's nice to have. Then we discovered the sun can do that, all right? Well, then there's the problem of producing the panels and stuff like that. But this is a vicious circle. For me, I look at it differently than most people because I know how to live off grid I mean, I don't need lights at night, you know. I learned how to live without the power, so it doesn't bother me. It might bother some, then when you have people like, all right, my mother needs electricity because she needs her oxygen and stuff like that. So, when you start getting in a position where you need, I'm trying to think, where things that are harder to make, all right, like the power. So my mom, she needs oxygen, etc. That's where it starts getting difficult. Okay. Generations before, how did people couldn't breathe? Well, they just couldn't breathe. It's kind of sad, but it's just the way it was. Now I got to get back on my train of thought. So what I'm getting at is, all right, we have the intelligence to create these things, which are great, but what we create is not, it's temporal. Anything we create, our transportation, anything. So, but in nature, you take care of it. It goes on forever. I wish you guys could see the woods I'm looking at right now. I mean, these trees, they are huge. You see this maple tree right off the patio here. That thing's mammoth. It has to have been here for at least a couple 100 years. As long as you take care of it, it's there. Okay? What's in nature, which is our basic needs that, water, food, air, it's there. It's always there. And I feel, all right, say, all right, now the natives, they knew how to hunt and gather in a manner that was respectful to nature. Witches do this too. I cannot remember the percentage or the amount that natives would harvest or hunt and then leave the rest. But like witches, what do I usually, if I harvest, I do a third of what's there. Okay. So we're not wiping out the entire uh, plant or whatever in that area. So this way things would, not. But then you had where other cultures came in who did not have, I'm not saying they did at one time have this knowledge, but they did not retain it. This is where I'm going to go back to religions and governments separating us from nature. And this is how we lost that knowledge. And then we have uh, species of plants and animals that go extinct because we don't have the knowledge to know how much to hunt and gather. Okay. But what I'm saying is, I think that when uh, a plant or animal goes extinct, nature comes in and puts in another one that can handle the current situation that replaces that one. I really believe this stuff. So, my point of this video, and I'm not saying get rid of technology or all the other stuff that we invented that people enjoy. What I'm saying is, have that stuff, but start putting your consciousness back on nature and what's provided out there. Hell, one of the biggest benefits for me of nature that it provides for me is peace of mind. It calms my spirit. I go out there, I feel wonderful. I feel like a different person. That's a big benefit. But we need to go back to being aware of nature, being aware we are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature. We are part of the food chain. Get over it, people. Unless the human body like that suddenly advances to the point it does not need sustenance, you're going to have to sacrifice something for you to survive. Okay? For me, the argument doesn't work because I believe that everything has energy, everything has consciousness at some level. So for vegetarians, if you go, you cut a plant down or whatever, even lettuce, to make a meal, well, you just killed something. And it does hurt the plants. I mean, I've seen where they have done this a scientific study where they were able to put the electrodes on the plant, and if you came at it with scissors, it would start spazzing. So this is where, when you go to hunt and gather, the gratitude and the energy you put out into nature when you are going to provide for yourself, and you're not going to be hoggish, you get just what you need for the time. When you put that energy of gratitude and love out there, it changes the situation. And it is, I guess I could say humane, but it is what it is. It's above, so below. It was created that way above. Okay. So, what I'm saying is, I think for us to survive what we're going through and get out of the control, that's the big thing, to get out of being controlled, is remember who we truly are and that we are part of nature, not separate from it. We have been provided for in nature by our Creator, etc. Okay? Don't abuse it. Don't be hoggish. Take what you need and leave the rest behind to reproduce or for other creatures on this planet. The birds, they go to get seeds, they drop some. Guess what? New plants grow. So don't take it all. I do about a quarter to a third, depending on my needs. We need to go back to that, because that will set us free. That's where the truth will set you free comes in. It's the truth. We are part of nature. What's in nature was provided for us. You got to remember who you are, really. And you're not a machine. You're not a slave. You are not a tool for the powers that be to use. You are part and parcel of the Creator who created this planet too and provided everything we need naturally. So I guess I better shut up because I'm kind of rambling. I'll leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.